What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're going to take a look at this. The Highwind Direwolf. Let's do it. What's up guys, hope everybody's doing great out there. Today, it is my pleasure to demo my very own Highwind Direwolf V2. Haven't really had a lot of chance to really mess with it and dial it in. To be honest, it was a little bit confusing at first, but once I pulled out the direction sheet and really kind of figured out how every switch and knob interacted with each other, I'm starting to really like it. That intro clip you heard, at first we were on the Bogner V30 with no boost. I kicked in the Highwind, and yeah, we've also got the armored Sabo here, thanks to James and Dalton. Thank you guys for sending that to me to check out for a little bit. We're gonna put it through both amps, mess with all the switches, see how she sounds. All right, first off, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The switch settings on the pedal are slightly confusing, even for somebody who's pretty good at figuring stuff out. Now, I guess my problem could be that I go through a lot of pedals because I'm doing the demo thing now, so I don't really get a chance to use them and get to know them super in depth. So please take that into consideration. The switch settings on here, in my opinion, down on these three should all be stock, but they're not. It's like stocks in the middle, stocks on the bottom, stocks up top. And it makes it kind of hard to remember which switch is which, especially on the White Wolf and the blacked out versions where there are no labels. I get that that's for the aesthetic. You've got the little cheat sheet that is on the Highwind website in order to use it along with the pedal. And honestly, once you probably get to know the pedal, if this is your main one and it stays on your board, you're gonna know what settings what anyways, because you're going to know the pedal in depth. Now for me, being a first-time user here, I was confused as hell. I was flipping stuff and hearing things, but not knowing exactly what I was doing to the signal. So I can make that work. I dial stuff with my ears and not my eyes anyways, but really I was kind of confused on what exactly was going on. I could tell what was happening to the signal, but I didn't really know what I was activating. So for this demo, and until I get to know the pedal a little bit better, I'm going to have the little cheat sheet up here. Let me see if I can get it to focus in on my phone screen. Okay, so you can kind of see it on the camera here. But anyways, this kind of gives you a layout of the pedal and what everything does. So I'm gonna stop talking about my stupid ass and start talking about this pedal. Okay, so first off, top left corner, we've got a volume control. Obviously, I've got that dimed because I want a lot of output. This pedal doesn't seem to have a ton of output. It's a little bit mild there, so I actually had some gain dialed in on that initial clip, but the gain is clear and it doesn't add too much coloration or too much noise. Or any other unwanted stuff, so they kind of work in tandem very nicely. So yeah, obviously this is our gain pedal, or gain knob, and then over here we've got the active tone control. When you turn it down, it is a treble cut. When you turn it up, it is a treble boost. And you will see in the demo, it's pretty noticeable when you dial it to extreme settings. So over here, this knob is the wet-dry blend pedal. On the right, it is wet. On the left, it is dry. In my experience, you want to keep it pretty much dimed because if it is turned down, it really turns down the output of the pedal and makes it sound a little bit weak. I'm not exactly sure what that setting is for, so I just keep it dimed. But somebody who dials in maybe a little bit more subtle settings on their boost than I would, where I usually have the tone or the level balls out, they may find more use in that. If you guys know exactly what it does, tell me down in the comments. I'm not going to pretend to know everything about every single thing I demo. I'm usually pretty well read on this stuff, but I don't know everything, so correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so now let's get down into the switches, because the switches I think is where all the interesting stuff is on this pedal. Over here on the far left, you've got the treble switch. Up is the brighter mode, middle is the brightest mode, down is stock. You know, I'm not a genius. I don't know jack about circuits or switches or anything like that. So take my opinion here with a grain of salt. To me, it would have made a lot more sense for down to be stock, middle to be brighter, and then up to be brightest. And then same here. This second switch is a bass switch. Down is more bass, middle is stock, and then up is most bass. So in my opinion, down stock, middle more bass, and then top most bass. That would make it a little bit easier to remember which setting is which if you're trying to just dial it in on the fly without really having to think about what's going on. But that's just my opinion. So like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's even possible with the way that everything is wired or whatever. So feel free to roast me in the comments. Okay, so over here, the gain boost switch. Down is low gain, middle is high gain, up is stock. Okay, and those are pretty much self-explanatory, I would think. Over here on the clipping mode switch, you've got LED in the down mode, diode lift in the middle, and then asymmetrical diode in the top portion. There's quite a bit of variance, especially in the bass and treble. I was noticing a lot of difference there. And then also the gain boost switch, that can kick in some serious output on the gain knob, and it also seems to just overall add gain, even with the gains all the way down on the pedal. So we're gonna go through some settings on each amp here and see what kind of sounds we can get out of this thing. So I'm going to turn the blend to the middle, treble dial to the middle, keep the volume all the way up, keep the gain all the way down, and we're gonna put everything in stock, which I have to look at because I don't know where stock is offhand. Okay, stock, 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 and we will keep it in asymmetrical diode mode. Okay, so immediately you kick it on and you're not really getting much more out of it. So we turn that blend knob up. And you notice there's more output pretty much right away. Turn it all the way up. That's where the goods are. Okay, so now it sounds like a boost. That sounds pretty good. The only thing with the boost being all the way up is the pedal seems to kind of loosen up a little bit, and I'm guessing it's because it's pushing more of the signal through. We'll dial the blend back. Okay, so that's pretty weak sounding. That's the stock amp, no pedal. That's the pedal with the blend turned down to 9 o'clock. So I'm not really sure what purpose that's supposed to serve. Let me know in the comments if you know and I just don't know how to use it and I'm an idiot. Sounds pretty good like that though. So we're going to turn the treble boost up a little bit on the tone knob. So yeah, that is definitely a treble boost. Doesn't really affect the mids at all. Definitely affecting the higher frequencies more than anything. So let's start messing around with the switches. If I can find the picture. All right, this is not going well for me. We got the high in stock. Let's switch it to the middle, which is the brightest. That is definitely bright. Let's switch it to the top, which is bright. Okay, so that's more pleasant for sure. That's got a nice sound to it in the bright setting. Seems to add a little bit of harmonic content too, which is cool. Bass switch, we're in the stock mode. Let's switch it up into the more bass. That adds a considerable amount of bass for sure. Let's switch it into the most bass setting, which is the down mode. So it's got quite a bit of bass output on that switch. That's nice. And Jordan, when I was talking to him about this pedal, he basically was like, this pedal is made to go in front of any amp and be able to tweak it the way you want it. So there's quite a bit of variance in those two switches in the EQs. So that's pretty cool. Definitely you can see that working in front of multiple amps. Okay guys, so now we're gonna go over to the clipping switch. The clipping switch here in the up mode is asymmetrical diode. We're gonna switch it to the middle, which is diode left. That clipping style seems to push the high end down a little bit into the upper mid territory. So that's pretty cool. Down into the LED mode. That sounds good as well. Seems to be kind of bright and a little bit thinner. So I kind of like it up the best. It's the best balance of articulation and fullness to my ears. So yeah, that sounds good. All three are definitely very usable though. Okay, finally, we're gonna go over here to the gain boost switch on the far right. Currently, it is in stock. Okay, now we're going to switch it into high gain. There's some noise. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of output there. It's definitely much more saturated than it was when we were in the stock mode. Now we're in the low gain setting. That sounds nice. That's a pretty pleasant sounding gain. All right, so that sounds good, but again, I like it in the up mode the best for stock. So yeah, with the way that we have everything set right now, I think we got a pretty good tone going on. We're gonna add a little bit of gain on the dial, and by a little bit, I mean like 1 notch. And that adds just enough saturation there on the end. All right, quick riff, and then we'll switch over to the Sabo, see how the Sabo takes. Yeah, that sounds really nice. I'm digging that. So let's go over to the Sabo now. All right, so we are on the armored Sabo. And we have no boost. Boost is now on. You here to riff? What? Don't bump my camera, please. Go upstairs. Do you want to go outside? So as you can see, that imparts a lot of character on the Sabo, a lot of upper end frequencies. That's the amp with no boost. That sounds really good. So I'm actually going to turn it down to the different clipping mode. I believe that this is the LED clipping. Okay, that sounds really good. I think there's actually maybe a little bit too much high end for me. So let's put the high end back to stock. Oh, yeah. That sounds good. Okay, I'm liking that. Wow. All right, that sounds great. Treble, brightest mode right here. Not a fan on this amp. This is the bright mode. I think it sounds best in stock. Sounds nice there. Okay, we are in the bass switch. More bass. I don't think the extra bass frequencies really complement this amp very well. Here's the most bass. Definitely stock on that one for me as well. Okay, we're in the clipping switch. Up is the asymmetrical. That sounds really nice. Middle is LED. Definitely doesn't work as well on this amp as it does on the Dover. I think it's just the voicing of the amp not complementing it very much. And then that is the LED. Over here, I think the asymmetrical sounds really good on this amp. Okay, we are on the gain boost switch. We were in stock. Here's high. Okay, oh, there's the noise. Here's the low gain. Okay, so let me try something. I'm gonna go high gain, bright, leave the bass at stock, turn the high cut up a little bit, turn the blend down a little bit. Still has plenty of output, but it's just so noisy like that. Okay guys, so final thoughts on the Direwolf V2. Overall, I think this is a really cool pedal. I think there are a lot of really usable features on here. One feature that I didn't show in my video, there is actually an 18-volt charge pump inside here. When I got the pedal stock, it was on the 18-volt setting. So I actually switched it over to the 9-volt to try it out and left it there because I liked how that sounded a little bit better. The extra headroom on the 18-volt settings just seemed to clean up the signal almost a little bit too much, and it didn't seem like the drive was imparting enough dirt or clipping or whatever. I know I have the gain all the way down, but I was hearing the signal just super clean and not really seeming like it was adding much to the drive of the amp. Generally, you're just trying to push the front end of the amp. You're not trying to add clipping, but in the 9-volt mode, the lack of headroom or the less headroom, to me, just to my ears, sounded better. It just seemed to do what most boosts normally do. And it could just be me being used to that setting. So the blend, the level, the gain, they're all very interactive. You can use them all separately to really shape the tone that you get out of the pedal. And then on top of that, you have a high cut knob, which Jordan actually told me is interactive with the high switch. So that's something I didn't really try to adjust too much in my video to see the differences of how the high knob interacted with the switch in different settings. So that's something that you guys can play with on your own if you end up getting this pedal. He also told me my little complaint about the stock setting on the switches not being in the same spot. He just said the way that the board is laid out and the way that the circuit is designed, unfortunately, you can't do it. So like I said early in the video, I don't know anything about designing pedals. So that's why I made that statement, because obviously I didn't know that the layout just doesn't allow for it. I mean, I figured that there was a reason that you wouldn't put them the same way. That's why I added a little bit of a disclaimer to it. Okay, so yeah, overall, I think this is an awesome pedal. I think there are lots of usable combinations of adjustments that you can put on there to really put your spin on your tone with this pedal. Me personally, I have two things that I would like to see changed on it, and I talked to Jordan about this already. Just giving him my honest feedback, because I didn't want him to get blindsided by my review saying, oh, I think, it could be better this way or that way. He was very receptive to everything that I said. One thing is with the bass switch, I wish that the lowest setting actually cut more low frequencies and made the pedal sound tighter overall. I'm used to a tube screamer style boost. Even the MXR, you can kind of fine tune the low end, and the Duality. They all cut a lot of low signal. Now, not everybody wants that, but the thing is you've got two more bass settings on here. They give you more bass. So in my opinion, I feel like the lowest bass setting on the pedal should be akin to like a tube screamer type pedal, where it really attenuates those low frequencies, tightens up your signal significantly, and makes a little bit more of a difference. So that's number one. Number two, I don't want another control on this pedal, but I would like a way to either add more mids, or I would like a little bit more mids built into the voicing of the pedal overall. Again, I'm a guy who likes tube screamer style pedals. I like the mid bump that gets added. A lot of you guys don't want that, and that's completely fine. This pedal is for you because it doesn't impart a mid bump, at least not to my ears. And in talking to Jordan, he didn't seem to say that it did. A couple of people had asked him to do that for them, or to change the pedal to have something like that, kind of like I'm saying right now. I believe that he just couldn't quite get it to work with the way that the pedal was designed, the frequencies that it already boosts and everything else. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what I got out of that conversation. So essentially, tighter lows and a little bit more mids, and I would absolutely leave this pedal on my board, to be completely honest. Because of the way it is right now, it just doesn't quite suit my style and my ear. You know, it may not be for me, but I have read time and time again how many people are looking for a little bit more of a transparent boost. Well, this definitely fills that void. If you're looking for a transparent boost, or something that you can tweak your low and high frequencies quite a bit, and also really adjust the amount of output or the type of output with the clipping and everything else, this is the pedal for you. There's a lot of stuff built into this thing. So I'm rambling on forever. I really think that you guys should give this a chance and check it out if you have not, especially if you like boosts that don't impart a significant character change to your guitar, and you want something that's slightly more transparent and doesn't give you that big mid boost and doesn't cut so many lows. I think this is a great choice for guys looking for something like that again. So in conclusion, hit Jordan up at Highwind Amplification if you want to get one of these on order, and he'll hook you up. And that's going to do it for me today. Kyle here again. We'll see you guys next time.